They say life begins at 40, but for Cristiano Ronaldo, this could be the beginning of the end.
Game over.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Cristiano Ronaldo's been on the pitch where he's been scoring goals, sensational player, one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest of all time. And lots of players have to sit on that bench and watch him. It's now his turn.
He's living in arguably the most confusing paradox of his career, a superstar who suddenly isn't the main attraction anymore. Ronaldo sees the need to be relevant, understands it, and he's doing everything to stay in the spotlight, even if it means ruining his legacy. It's been a week full of sporting wrongs for Ronaldo. From meeting controversial United States President Donald Trump in what Trump tried to describe as the ultimate setup for his son, but ultimately revealing the darker play behind Ronaldo's visit to the White House, the sportswashing business of mixing football with politics, and just days later, when he was back to the business he's been known for over the last 2 decades, Ronaldo set an unwanted record. His first red card with the Portuguese national team in over 20 years.
And that cheered as much as any of the parrot goals in the first half, a sarcastic applause from Cristiano Ronaldo.
Cristiano, how are you?
Add this to another infamous interview with Piers Morgan, where he had choice words about arguably the toughest league in the world.
If I play in Premier League now, in a top team, I will score the same. They can say whatever they want, but the numbers they don't like.
Add all of this together, and it's just snowballed into an ugly reality for Ronaldo. He's approached UNC status in the game now, and he's just tripping wildly. We've got to go back to that World Cup qualifier versus Ireland. Cristiano Ronaldo is captaining Portugal yet again with only one mission: to win and seal qualification to the 2026 World Cup. All they had to do was beat Ireland. Ronaldo was the one they expected to score, to bag the goals, but it didn't turn out like that. Ronaldo struggled. He failed to become a central target in the box. Dara O'Shea and Scally did a job on him. He had to drop deep to try and get involved and link up the play, but every time Ronaldo got in the box, he was either getting bullied or failing to connect. Simply put, it was another number 7 that stole the show. Troy Parrott bagged a first-half brace, and on a night where everything about Portugal and Ronaldo going forward just seemed off, Ronaldo's night got a horrible ending. He reacted wildly by swinging his elbow and catching Ireland's Dara O'Shea, the same man who'd had his number almost all night, and after VAR got involved, Ronaldo's initial yellow card was overturned. Straight red, Ronaldo's first in a Portuguese shirt in 226 games. A lot was made of it after the game. Portuguese head coach Roberto Martinez came out after the game to defend Ronaldo. Talked about how Ronaldo, just like the rest of the team, was frustrated, how Ronaldo was only trying to help the team. Then, he almost shot himself seconds later.
The aspect of the referee's been influenced, and then a big centre-half falls on the floor, so dramatically at the turn of Cristiano's body. So I don't think it's anything that doesn't happen in football. He's won many games for us. He's a reference for us, and now we need to make sure we win the next game for him.
Martinez referenced a comment that had been made earlier about the choice of referee for the game. Unnecessary excuses. All of what happened against Ireland was in the immediate for Ronaldo. The bigger picture was another familiar story for the Portuguese captain.
But I think for the good of Portugal, it would be beneficial for him to get a suspension. As great as he has been as a player, for this current Portugal side, he holds them back. You could bring in a Rafa Leao, you could bring in a Gonçalo Ramos, players who are happy to run. Rafa Leao, maybe that's a little bit of a stretch, but players who can run and press and have more of an overall team unity and spirit, I think it would be beneficial for Portugal.
It's the one we've been dealing with for over 4 years now. Is this Portugal team better without Cristiano Ronaldo in the team? I mean, the data almost speaks for itself. Ronaldo captained the team to defeat against Ireland, and honestly, they struggled. Couldn't really create clear-cut chances. If Ronaldo wasn't dropping deep to receive, he was either waiting for crosses that he simply couldn't connect with, or just looking out of the plot. Portugal played Armenia without the suspended Ronaldo days later, and while you could argue that the quality of the opposition was significantly lower, there was no denying how much better Portugal looked. Sensational. 9-1. They didn't just beat Armenia, they thumped them en route to qualifying for the World Cup. But keeping the focus on Ronaldo, and it just fueled the debate that had been building for months now. Portugal looked so much better without Ronaldo in the side, and it was evident in some of the goals. Gonçalo Ramos' first and Portugal's second came after Ramos was alive to a loose pass, rolled it around the goalie and scored. Would Ronaldo have been alert to the situation? We can only speculate, but this is just one of the goals. There's more. If Gonçalo Ramos' goal with Ronaldo in it was speculative, this free kick was very clear. The point? When he's on the pitch, Ronaldo is Portugal's undisputed set-piece taker for free kicks and penalties, even if his record from free kicks isn't exactly great. If Ronaldo were on the pitch, João Neves wouldn't score this free kick because Ronaldo would take it. It's the same with the penalties. Bruno Fernandes took 2 from the spot and scored. Ronaldo's recent record from the spot with Portugal hasn't exactly been great either. 9 goals, a complete team performance. We can clearly see now that Portugal looks more like a team playing free-flowing football without Ronaldo, and a younger, more mobile target than Ronaldo up front. Before we continue though, I've got a quick one. Truth is guys, it takes a lot to produce quality videos like this from the team. It's effort, research and resources, and we're just saying on your part, you can help us keep going by hitting that subscribe button to Futbol Historia to encourage us to produce even more quality videos like this. Thanks. Just to be clear, that we're saying this doesn't mean we're saying Ronaldo's chapter with Portugal is finished. He's still the same man who came up clutch for Portugal in the Nations League finals in the middle of the year. Portugal's record before him and with him speaks volumes. The all-time top scorer for the Portuguese national team, record appearance holder, so many achievements. But it's so clear now that Ronaldo cannot continue being the main figure in Portugal's attack. The game has changed. Then, in the same week, he gets back and scores a banger. At 40? Damn, ridiculous. But Ronaldo's drama hasn't just been related to his on-pitch antics. Off the field, he's been making headlines for some controversial reasons too. A couple of weeks ago, Ronaldo teamed up with Piers Morgan to drop another banger. For context, the last time Ronaldo and Piers Morgan dropped an interview, it was a bomb. Ronaldo called out the likes of Wayne Rooney and Gary Neville, called out Man United and the club, and ended with him leaving United weeks after. This time though, Ronaldo wasn't going after a club. He had a lot to say and honestly, some of it just made him look off.
Say the same time, Cristiano say that because he played in Saudi. No. Listen, I play everywhere. Everywhere. For me, it's more easy to score in Spain than score in Saudi.
I've got to start with this one. This guy, man. Okay, let's get into it then. So Ronaldo jumps on an interview with Piers Morgan and claims that it's easier to score in the Saudi Pro League than it is to score in LaLiga. There are so many ways to counter this. The easiest is to look at some of the goals Ronaldo has scored out in Saudi. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it would be super hard for any goalie to guess where the ball is heading with all of that fog. And speaking of goalies, trust me guys, let's not get started on some of the refereeing decisions in the League too. We're not trying to discredit all of Ronaldo's claims, at least some of them. I mean, to be fair, he does have a point with it being harder to play in the temperatures in Saudi Arabia due to the heat and extreme pressures, and having to run in that. But then comparing the Saudi Pro League to LaLiga? Really? Saying it's harder to score in the Saudi Pro League than it is to score in LaLiga is a joke. LaLiga isn't necessarily what it used to be over a decade ago when Ronaldo still played in Spain. True, it's still Barcelona, Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid that almost always make up the top 3. But it's become even tougher. There's no easy game in Spanish football anymore. Ronaldo also mentioned the Saudi Pro League being better than Ligue, and this again is controversial. You can see his angle. He mentioned in the clip that it's really just PSG that ends up winning almost everything. But saying it like this is off, and rich too. As of recording this, the top 3 in Ligue are separated by just 2 points. The top scorer in Ligue is Marseille's Mason Greenwood with 10 goals. There's no PSG player in the top 4. Ronaldo's statement becomes even funnier when you realise that PSG is 87% owned by investment from the Middle East in its Qatari-led board. The point is that the same applies to almost every top team in the Saudi Pro League. From Ronaldo's Al Nassr to the likes of Al Hilal, Al Ittihad and Al Ahly, these teams have almost unlimited funding and purchasing power to sign and change rosters as much as possible, just to achieve results and win. To Ronaldo's point, they aren't better. He's just complaining because he's in a league where 2, 3, even more clubs can afford to spend as much as they do. Ronaldo wasn't finished shading himself with Piers Morgan. It's almost as if Piers Morgan catfished Ronaldo into dropping clickbait-worthy videos, because the next time he spoke, it was about his longtime rival.
The greatest player in the history of Real Madrid, the finest goal scorer in the history of the Champions League.
You are watching possibly the greatest footballer ever, at the absolute peak of his powers.
Cristiano is a dream to win the World Cup. No, it's not a dream. Really? Cristiano will be the greatest if they win the World Cup. I'm not agreeing.
Well, I think
I win 3 titles for Portugal. The story of Portugal.
You know my
Ronaldo in this interview says it's normal for countries like Argentina to win the World Cup. That's the good part. Where things take a different turn is when Ronaldo then downplays Messi's achievements of winning the World Cup with Argentina in 2022. That's just wrong, man. Everyone knows how hard Messi and Argentina worked to get a 3rd World Cup star. After last winning it in 1986, they didn't reach another final until 2014, lost in extra time to Germany. The 2022 edition was a rollercoaster of emotions, with the most epic final in the competition's history. To know all of this, a competition Ronaldo himself has played in 5 times and only bested with a semi-final appearance. Until he's won it, I don't think he's the right man to speak about the competition. In the same interview, he did speak about it though. Ronaldo talked about the World Cup.
If you ask me, Cristiano is a dream to win the World Cup. No, it's not a dream. Really? Yes. To win the World Cup, none will change my name in history of football. People say, Cristiano will be the greatest if they win the World Cup. I'm not agreeing.
He claimed the World Cup is not his dream, that he's already achieved everything he's wanted to in his career, and that he's happy with the way things are. Nothing left. Throw it back to 2022. He was dejected after Portugal got knocked out in the quarterfinals by Morocco. Those weren't just the tears of a man who'd been eliminated from the World Cup. They felt like the tears from a man who'd known at the time that he may have played in his last ever World Cup. Then he comes out now and says he doesn't care about football's biggest international event? I hope he knows he's got receipts.
We won something very special, Euro Cup. We have to have the steps under the ground because we won 2016 and now we want to win the World Cup.
He literally called the World Cup a dream, this time 4 years ago ahead of the 2022 World Cup. Emphasised that even after winning 2 titles with the Portuguese national team, it's still his dream to win the World Cup. So the big question then is what changed? How did the World Cup suddenly go from becoming a dream to not being as important? It's one of 2 things, man. It's either that Ronaldo has become a man who is content with his truth that the World Cup might just be out of reach for him, or it's the fact that Ronaldo is trying to deflect any possible media attention from himself and Portugal ahead of 2026. Whichever way, the fact remains that Cristiano Ronaldo cannot deny that winning the World Cup is the ultimate achievement for a player at his level. He's almost completed the game, and he's stuck at the almost status, because the true greats have experienced and captained their nations to World Cup success. Pelé with Brazil, Messi and Maradona with Argentina. The World Cup is the ultimate symbol, and maybe that's why Ronaldo is now making an insane power play to give himself and Portugal a boost ahead of the World Cup next year. Cristiano Ronaldo is now mixing football with politics. A couple of days ago, Ronaldo was once again the center of attention. He arrived at the White House to have a black-tie dinner with President Donald Trump, except Ronaldo was more than just a +1. He's a key piece of a political movement from 2 superpowers trying to influence the game. The FIFA World Cup takes place in the United States, Canada and Mexico in just under 200 days. While there are officially 3 host cities, the MetLife Stadium in New Jersey is going to host the final. Think of the United States as a major power piece trying to not just influence global affairs now, but also sports too. Trump's going about it in the right way. They've already hosted the Club World Cup in its new format this summer. Trump was a heavy part of it, even attending the final and getting involved in the closing ceremony with the winners Chelsea. They're trying to find a major stronghold in the game. Lionel Messi already plays in America's franchise league in the MLS. Getting Ronaldo to the White House means 2 of the greatest players of the last decade now have business on American soil. Long shot. And here's Ronaldo's part with the Saudis. He's the poster boy for what we could describe as the whitewashing campaign. The Saudis, just like the Americans, are playing a long game. In the next 2 decades, they have a goal to become the hub of global football. their unofficial brand ambassador, Cristiano Ronaldo.
The project, not the next 2 years, but until 2034, which is the goal, and will be the World Cup in Saudi Arabia.
He's fully invested in the idea. I mean, technically it does pay him, because it's reported that for every time Ronaldo makes a post or an engagement promoting culture and tourism in the Saudis, he's getting paid heavy for it. But back to the White House meeting, and on his own part, Ronaldo had a reputation to save. He's toured the world in recent years, but there's a reason Ronaldo hasn't been to the United States since 2016, 8 years ago now, and that reason is ugly. In 2016, Ronaldo faced an allegation of sexual harassment from Catherine Mayorga after she alleged that Ronaldo assaulted her in a Las Vegas hotel room in 2009. He strongly denied the allegations, but hasn't been to the United States ever since. And so, on that evening, each party gathered in the White House on a mission involving Ronaldo. The United States with a cover ploy to show that they've got the biggest names in the game on their side. The Saudis with an attempt to cover up the allegations of sportswashing, trying to use sports to cover up human rights crimes, and Cristiano Ronaldo, a GOAT with a stained reputation in the States. They weren't alone. Tesla CEO and billionaire Elon Musk was also in attendance, as was the CEO of Apple Tim Cook. The Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman too. Donald Trump's son Barron Trump, the man he claims is a huge fan of Ronaldo. The glaze was crazy, but the idea was simple. Each party was there with various interests, both sporting and non-sporting related, but they needed a unifying factor, and that's where Cristiano Ronaldo came in. So where does all of this leave CR7 then? Right now, it's with a legacy that proves that no matter how big an individual is, they're available for the right price. Ronaldo's move to the Saudi Pro League in January 2023 shocked the world. He claimed he had offers from teams across Europe and even South America, and that in the end, he only went to the Saudi Pro League because of the project and how it interested him. It's all on the video.
Cristiano. I can say now I had many opportunities in Europe, many clubs, in Brazil, in Australia, US, even in Portugal, many clubs try to sign me, but I give the word to this club for the opportunity to develop not only the football but the other part of this amazing country. And for me it's a good challenge. I know what I want and I know of course what I don't want as well. So for me it's a good chance to change, to help with my knowledge and my experience.
But the real reality Cristiano Ronaldo doesn't want to admit is that he's fighting to stay relevant in a generation where each game demands more. He also claimed recently in his interview with Piers Morgan that in his worst year in Europe, back with United in the 2021-22 campaign, he scored 25 goals. True. Then he went on to claim that if he plays for a top club in Europe now, he'll continue to bag goals. Not true. Why? Well, on one hand, Ronaldo did bag goals for Man United, which we cannot deny. But on the other hand, his arrival coincided with a club that finished second in the league the previous season to finishing fifth when Ronaldo arrived and failing to qualify for the Champions League. There's another very evident truth which will sting if you're a Ronaldo fan, but it's a fact nonetheless. That United team didn't grow with Ronaldo. They had to adapt. They were forced to adapt the game to how Ronaldo played. Crosses into the box, attackers around him pressing because he wasn't going to press, and in the end it just didn't add up. Imagine trying to build a project around a then 38-year-old. Which brings us to where we are now. At 40, Ronaldo is still going strong, but take that he's playing at a considerably lower level in the Saudi Pro League. The demands of top European football now wouldn't allow Ronaldo to function as effectively in the modern game, and that's a fact. Maybe Ronaldo just needs help, man. Maybe he's struggling to understand that this isn't his era anymore. Maybe he's struggling to understand that if he decides to switch up on his words now just to suit his agenda or fill a narrative, there are more ways to expose the truth than before. He's a man on a mission to do what would be a mind-blowing achievement, 1,000 career goals, and as he puts it, all on video. That's one way to look at it. The other way is to see a man who needs something to continue to be important. He'll be 41 when the World Cup rolls around next summer. He's confirmed that it would indeed be his last World Cup. After this, no more excuses for Ronaldo. It's a shame, man, because we are talking about a guy who at his peak was one of the most feared footballers of all time. But the day Cristiano Ronaldo became the GOAT of his generation is a day the world will never forget. Against the odds in 2019, back against the wall stuff, rescuing his team when they looked down and out with special circumstances against him. And it's all in the next video. Click it to find out the day that Cristiano Ronaldo became the GOAT.